Man, Lord.
You supposed to be mad today.
We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot.
Could get their money back was however money back. He said, but Lil Cam Wolf and Big Caprice are the three. I'm up, I got the next, and they passed the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting against them up.
Boosie just straight up called out J. Prince Jr. over the whole Duke the Jeweler setup, and now J. Prince Sr. is clapping back hard. For years, people been pointing fingers at Boosie, claiming he lined Duke up. But he's done keeping his mouth shut. He's dropping names, throwing shade, and putting the spotlight right on mob ties. The internet's going wild. The feds are sniffing around. But the real question is, who actually pulled the strings that night? And why is J. Prince Sr. firing shots back? Let's rewind. November 2022, 29-year-old Duke the Jeweler gets gunned down in what they called a robbery just after leaving Boosie's concert in Houston, Texas. Right after, the streets lit up with talk that Boosie either gave the green light or knew exactly who did it. Word on the street, 2 men set Duke up that night. They weren't just some random guys. They were tied to Boosie. Family ties, deep ones. The internet ate it up, and while Boosie kept his lips sealed, the streets started pointing heavy. For months, everyone rode with that story. But now, the streets are spinning back, and their eyes are locked on someone who's been hiding in the shadows, J. Prince Jr., the son of Houston's so-called hip-hop godfather. While Boosie took all the fire, the real puppet master stayed clean, quiet, and right in plain sight. But now, that mask is starting to crack. These details don't just look suspicious, they look staged. Boosie was never the kingpin. He was the fall guy, allegedly. Why? Because he was there that night. He performed. And allegedly, he's the one who invited Duke. Rumor even claims Duke's Louis Vuitton bag ended up in Boosie's house. But that don't prove motive. It just proves Boosie was close, not guilty. And that's what made him the perfect setup. The fall guy's always the one already drowning in court cases, and Boosie fit that role too well.
That dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before, we was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot.
Boosie already had baggage, gun cases, the Terry Boyd trial, and his name still tied to charges he beat years back. In the court of public opinion, he was already stamped guilty. All they needed was the right story to hang on him. But now, Boosie's done playing quiet. He's breaking his silence, dropping J. Prince Jr.'s name straight up, saying, "Y'all tried to line me up." He swears he barely knew Duke. Said they only met at a dice game, and the very next day, Duke pops up at his concert. A few hours later, Duke's dead in a parking lot robbery. Nah, something's not adding up here. Boosie's calling it what it is, a setup. And now folks are really listening. Duke didn't get hit in Baton Rouge. He got dropped in Houston, a city Boosie don't control. But guess who does? J. Prince Jr. Now even Houston locals are sounding off online. Boosie didn't do that. This ain't his city. One user wrote, "If you from Houston town, you know what happened." Boosie has nothing to do with it at all. Another came straight with it, saying, "Why would Boosie set up a robbery in a city he's not from? That'd be bold and flat out disrespectful." People are quick to talk with no facts. But then, another voice on the net went straight for J. Prince Jr., saying, Boosie had nothing to do with that man's death. Look at J. Prince Jr. And here's the kicker. Guess who was also sitting at that dice table? J. Prince Jr., the same guy who's allegedly been running Houston's check-in culture with an iron grip. Sources say if you're an artist, rapper, influencer, whatever, you don't step foot in H-Town without tapping in with the princes. And Duke? He checked in. Still ended up dead.
Who just ever really been in LA, he checked in. Any real dude that's ever been in Atlanta, he checked in. If you moving and you getting money, you gonna check in because you need to know the right places to be and places not to be. That's a business.
That's not just shady, that's predatory. Because the check-in game ain't about safety, it's about power. Remember Takeoff? He checked in too, and still got lined up. Big U been running the same play out west, allegedly making artists check in so they don't get lined up. But word is, even rappers like PNB Rock allegedly checked in and still got caught slipping. Schoolboy Q kept it real. At best, rappers are getting robbed by the same folks they check in with. That ain't protection. That's straight up extortion wearing a smile. The Duke the Jeweler case been looking suspect from day one, and then the whole internet flipped. That dice game, it wasn't just rigged, it turned deadly. And Boosie, he was never the boss in this play. He was the bait. Then it got even messier when Whack 100 jumped in, loud, raw, and unfiltered. He didn't bite his tongue for a second. Whack straight up said the dice game was a setup. According to him, Duke the Jeweler wasn't robbed, he was lined up. And the crew behind it? Whack's pointing right at J. Prince Jr.'s circle, Lil Cam, and the tight squad running that rigged dice table where the house always wins, unless somebody messes up.
Everybody be checking in. That's y'all favorite thing to do. Check in with somebody that's gonna rob your stupid ass.
Wow.
Yo, you think that guy, the guy that you don't know in California got your back?
That night, Duke walked right into their trap. Whack said it plain. Duke started hitting dice that weren't meant for him, and that's what blew the whole setup apart. When you mess up a rigged system run on ego, money, and power, somebody's gotta pay. And Duke paid with his life. Whack 100 says J. Prince been brainwashing folks for decades, playing the role of protector while really pulling the strings from the shadows. But Whack wasn't the only voice in the mix. Charleston White jumped in too, saying Duke's death hit different, not just because he was talented, but because it never had to happen. Charleston called it plain. Mob ties built an environment in Houston that ain't just unsafe. It's deadly. Artists check in thinking they'll be shielded, but instead, they get pulled into loaded games surrounded by sharks. According to Charleston, Duke didn't get protected. He got played, checked in with the wrong crew and ended up clipped. Not for disrespect, but for pure naivete. Charleston didn't hold back. He dragged the entire industry. Said this ain't protection, it's extortion dressed up pretty. A twisted, unspoken code where silence means survival.
Occurred that a certain jeweler around and got past the dice on accident and was hitting on them for a couple hundred because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however their money back. Lil Cam Wolf and Big Caprice are the three designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other. But
he said most rappers are too scared to even whisper the truth. And Duke's death? According to Charleston, it wasn't random. It was ritual. But now that silence is starting to crack wide open. Even 50 Cent threw a spark on the flames. He didn't say a lot, but what he did drop was enough to make people's eyebrows shoot up. Reposting cryptic clips, sliding captions that hinted at a deeper truth, and subtly showing support for Boosie. Then came the Finesse 2-time situation, and that's when everything went sideways. Word on the street is J. Prince Jr. allegedly got Finesse's girl pregnant behind his back, and FNG No Love was loud about it. And if silence really equals guilt, this situation ain't quiet. It's screaming. Finesse didn't say a single word to kill the rumors, and this is the same guy who once praised mob ties like family. Now,
it's over the years, the decades of doing whatever he's doing, he's been having a way of brainwashing people.
Oh, yeah?
To thinking he's doing one thing when he really up to a next.
He won't even say their name. He's ghosted them completely. All that's left is cold distance, awkward tension, and a vibe that screams the loyalty's dead. Fans are spotting the cracks. Takeoff's murder, Boosie's public call-out, Finesse's fallout, and the same name keeps sliding into every headline, J. Prince Jr. The internet's losing it because that wall of silence ain't holding anymore. To some, It's looking like an empire built on fear is finally starting to crumble. One user wrote, Jay Prince has set up so many people and had several people knocked. Another posted, Jay Prince took him out, not Boosie. And Duke the Jeweler? He wasn't just some dude with ice. He was a self-made king out of Chicago. No industry handouts, just raw hustle and real skill. Started in the early 2000s, sketching pieces in a cramped studio, flipping nothing into luxury. Soon, his one-of-a-kind creations were on the biggest names. Rihanna, King Von, 50 Cent, even Boosie.
These street homie that's projecting these rules and then coming here playing like they admirable men with street rules and street exit. Nah, homie, them little was set up that night.
Duke's designs weren't just flashy. They were legacy pieces, the kind you pass down. And that's exactly what made him dangerous to the wrong people. His stock shot up fast, and in this industry, when power runs into pure independence, somebody's gonna feel threatened. Duke didn't just step into the wrong room. He stepped into a lion's den draped in gold, trusted the wrong smiles, shook the wrong hands, and paid the price. That room was a high-stakes dice game hosted by Jay Prince Jr. Sources say Duke cleaned house that night, walking away with around $100,000 on the table. But that win might have been the nail in his coffin, because right after, he was robbed, stripped of his ice, his cash, his phone, and shot. Not once, but multiple times, like somebody wanted him erased. The industry still ain't recovered. Duke's death hit different. This wasn't just a robbery, it was a calculated execution. Duke's death felt personal, deliberate, like somebody wanted to send a message.
He was called something, some dude tried to rob him. Some dudes tried to rob him. I had just met dude yesterday. We was in a garage. He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in a garage. We heard this.
Now Boosie's fighting to clear his name, telling everybody he had nothing to do with it. When footage dropped showing Boosie's reaction to Duke's death, the man looked crushed, couldn't even get his words out, like he truly didn't see it coming. And maybe, just maybe, he really didn't. But now Jay Prince Sr. is firing shots back. Boosie's flipping the whole script, accusing him of being the one setting people up. But the streets aren't swallowing that story because Takeoff was taken out in that same city, and the coroner's report said he was hit in the head and torso multiple times. That don't sound like no stray bullet like investigators claimed. That sounds planned. Now Jay Prince Sr. is clapping back at Whack 100 for siding with Boosie, calling him a clown, calling him loud. But the streets are saying he's just trying to dodge the real heat. He tried to flip it, saying, if you think about him, he is a clown. I love hip-hop culture. I put years into my movement for the culture. This ain't just about Boosie or Duke. This is about a whole system built on fear, silence, and fake protection. It's about the power moves that force artists to check in just to step foot in a city they don't control. It's about how self-made kings like Duke, who built everything from the ground up, still ain't safe once they walk into the wrong room. Duke's death didn't just leave a hole in the jewelry game. It cracked something deeper, exposing just how grimy this industry can be. Boosie says he was the bait. Finesse times fell back. Takeoff checked in and still lost his life. And now Jay Prince Sr. looks like he's scrambling. But if this is only the start, who's gonna be the next to speak up or disappear? If you're rocking with the truth, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and stay tapped in. 'Cause this story is far from over.